Okay, so I was making a YouTube video before, and then I was like doing it in the sunlight because I love the sunlight, but it was so sunny, so we're just restarting. So pretty much this video, I'm gonna be talking about why it's so important to trust your intuition. I think I wasn't trusting my intuition for a really long time because I always here's the deal. If you're giving someone else your power and calling people all the time and asking them for your opinion on your life, at the end of the day, I feel like you're kind of living someone else's life because they're giving you so much ideas and all these things, and then you're kind of taking it and saying like, "Oh yeah, I trust them more, so let's go and live how they live your life." This could be with therapists, coaches, mentors. Obviously, it's so important to have therapists, coaches, and mentors, but then at a certain point, you have to go back to yourself and say, "Oh, I need to start trusting my own self. I need to start trusting my own intuition." Okay? I think so often we can kind of get caught and we're not going to trust our intuition and we give other people power is because I think it's a really a childhood wound. And also something so interesting that for a really long time I was trying to date, let's say older men, almost close to 40. I'm 25, so I was dating men that were 38, 40 for a little bit. For some reason I thought that they're gonna be I was trying to think when I date, I have to date somebody that's smarter than me, more educated because they're older, so they're just gonna be more educated, more smart. When in reality, they were a 12-year-old boy trapped in a 40-year-old body, a 38-year-old man body type. The things that they were saying were so immature. And I would say, let's say, here's one example. I would say, yeah, he was like, "Oh, what are you up to tonight?" So I said, "Oh, I'm just doing yoga and meditation before I go to sleep. So I sleep so much better like that." And then he's like, show off, why are you pretending or something?" And I don't know, just if I would tell that to, let's say, a guy my age that I was talking to or dating, he would have been like, "Wow," and he would try to expand on that. Obviously, okay, I'm not saying all around that's how 38-year-olds are. I'm just saying sometimes I feel like he was so single and he just wants multiple women, but he's just trying to date. And I don't know if this really makes sense, but honestly, to me, it just felt like he was so in this place of not expanding on what I am. He was more just kind of stifling it. And the reason why I thought that was attractive is because I thought, "Oh yeah, they're so much smarter, 38-year-old men or 40-year-old men." Bro, you can be 25 and be smarter than a 50-year-old, okay? Or a 48-year-old or a 38-year-old. This can be whoever you're dating. To me, I'm attracted to men only, but it's obviously whatever you're dating. And I'm just saying, you can't give your power to somebody else and think "Oh, they're older than me, so they're gonna have more money, they're gonna be more stable, they're gonna have a more educated mind." Really not, honestly. There's exceptions, but I really am starting to notice I have to realize my power and my worthiness within myself as a 25-year-old woman. I don't need to think that everyone that's older than me or has more money than me or has more material items than me is better than me. When in reality, we're all humans and we're all people. And also, this type of energy is super attractive and it's super magnetic too, because you can become so complete and whole with yourself that you're not putting things on a pedestal, okay? Because so often we can start in the past when I was, let's say, trying to go after 38, 40-year-old men thinking that they're going to be cooler than me. I was here and they're up here, and I'm starting to put men and people and material things on a pedestal, but really I'm starting to bring them all back down. Not in oh, they're now losers. More like, no, we're actually all equals, and I'm going to attract somebody in my life that's has the same magnetism and has the same energy level as me. And I don't need to go after, let's say, okay, the number says they're older than me, and I don't need to go after those type of people that are just not in my energetic field. And now I'm starting to really put everyone down to the same pedestal. Like, no, I mean, not on a pedestal, and more just we're at the same playing field, okay? So Aaron Doughty also speaks about this, and he says, like, why are you so constantly trying to, like, put people on a pedestal? And that really, really blocks manifestations, okay? Because when you are trying to manifest things and then you're starting to put things on a pedestal, there's no room for it to actually come into your life. It might come into your life, but you're going to just repel it right out because you think it's so cool. I actually have a story of when I was in like I think it was like a pretty vulnerable state. Not I think, I know I was in a pretty vulnerable state, and I was also, again, going after like maybe not older men, but this guy, he was like 32, okay, and I started dating him. But the thing was, I was in a state of like scarcity, and I was like trying to get out of a situation that I didn't like, okay, within my environment. So I went on the date, and I had all these like, my energy was so off. I was, first of all, I was just, I was everywhere. I was really not present. I wasn't centered. I didn't feel safe in my body. I think that was like the main thing, how I really didn't feel safe in my body. So what happened was, I went on the date, and I just like gave off such an energy of like insecurity. Actually, like, my purse dropped. Like, I remember my everything was like a mess. Like, my purse was just like dropping, like my sunglasses fell on the floor, and we were at like a coffee place, and I just was like so off. And like, okay, this isn't cool things to share, but I'm just being vulnerable with it and saying like, I was so not feeling good within and safe within my body. And then like, I was on the date, and the guy, as he was like with me, the waitress comes up and asks for like, oh, do you guys want more? Do you want coffee? You want milk in your coffee? And he was like, oh my God, I love your ring. Like, he complimented the girl. And me and my vulnerable, unsafe body, I looked at that, and I was like, I saw that. And then I went and complimented the guy I was on a date with. And I was like, oh, you're so handsome. Like, you look so good. Like, what the hell was I thinking? He just complimented another woman. He clearly like wasn't attracted to me, and that's completely fine. No one, like, he didn't like me. Like, not all men have to like me. I'm completely fine with that. But like, I know my energetic state was so off, so I I couldn't even, like, I was repelling him, okay? But then I self-sabotaged myself even more. So I saw a sign like, oh, he doesn't like me, and then what I did was I then like tried to like win him over, and I was like trying to compliment him, when in reality what I should have done, like, me, my present self right now, like today, this day, I would have been like, saw the sign and just ran with it. I would have been like, bro, he's literally not interested in me. I don't need to give him one more second of my day. And I should have just been like, okay, thank you so much for the coffee. I gotta go, you know? Like, what the hell was I thinking? Okay. So obviously that experience that I had was super, I think it took me like, I gave it so much energy, and like, I don't know why I thought he was so amazing and like had all these qualities, and I put him on this whole pedestal. That experience took me a long time to recover from, and I still think about it to this day, just because the way I went about it, and the energy that I gave him, and I like made him think I like him so much. This, mind you, this was one date. This was like a not even this was like an hour and a half date, but I still think about it, like how it went about. And it's kind of mind-boggling to me. At the same time, that experience is has taught me a lot about myself, and it was a little bit painful because I thought he was really a nice person. I thought he was like had his life together. I thought he was really handsome, he was tall, and I just was like attracted to his energy, but I was not there at all. And why that all happened is because I was here, right? And I put him like all the way up here, and I'm like, yo, this guy has everything I want. I'm gonna marry him, like that's it. And also, like, mind you, I didn't even like in myself, like it's been so hard for me to actually envision myself like walking down the aisle with one man and staying with him for the rest of my life, only because there's a lot of trauma for me around like love and relationships. So like, you know, those girls that are always like, oh my gosh, like I'm envisioning myself like wearing the whole wedding dress and walking down the aisle and everything. I literally never, maybe like a few days ago, I'm like stepping my toes in the water of like, can I envision myself walking down the aisle and like getting married and actually like being in love and having love in my life, because I'm so wounded by that. So like I'm like starting to like step my toes into that world a little bit, and it's like so scary for me. But in the past, I'm just like, I wasn't even going there. And yeah, I think like there's so many girls, and I know like even a lot of my sisters, and like it's so beautiful. Like they have a vision of like, oh yeah, like I want to get married, and like I want to wear a dress, I want to look like a princess at my wedding. And I'm just like in what world? So I'm working through all of that energy, and because there's a lot of pain around love and relationships and all of that. And then so like when I was on this date, like energetically, like I don't even necessarily think I wanted to even get married, but I was in this like weird pressured state. So I just like gave him that energy, like that if he says yes to me, like, okay, I'm just gonna get married. Like, yo, that's awfully screwy. Okay, anyways, I'm just sharing these stories because like this is my vulnerable self, and I think that we can learn, and I hope that you can learn from this too, honestly. Like these stories, like especially if you are trying to like magnetize and attract a man in your life, or somebody in your life, or material items in your life, or money in your life, or literally anything in your life, it's so important to take the time to really like go within and think about like, am I really wanting this in my life, or am I like repelling it, putting it on a pedestal? So try to like bring the level down and say, oh, like we're all the same, we can all have abundance in our life, like we can all have it, we don't have to attract scarcity. And a lot recently I've been going on like really nice long walks, like at least 10,000 steps a day, and I've been listening to music, focusing on my breath. What came to me while I was walking was breathe in abundance and safety within my body, and then exhale out scarcity and fear out of my body. I don't know how that came to me, but it just came to me, and it's so healing. Because for a long time I would walk and I would, let's say, see like a really attractive guy, or really nice cars, or really nice houses, or like cool like material things, but I would just look at it and I would like kind of hide myself and get like nervous or shy. And now I'm just like, I'm not trying to get shy, like I can also have that. So like if somebody passes by me, like I can smile at them, or if like a nice car passes, or like cool people, or things that in the past would have intimidated me, and I would have like made myself small and like hunch over or look away. Now I'm just like, okay, like broaden my perception, broaden my perspective, look at it or don't, or just like it's all the same. Like I'm not like putting things on a pedestal. Okay, also Andrew Huberman, he was in right in his recent podcast that he just put out with I don't know who it was, but it's the most recent one. He just shared that he, in interviews, he'll like back up and then he'll broaden, and it's kind of like a meditation practice, like so he can absorb more of the information. He'll back up and try to just like broaden his perception, so not being hyper focused on, let's say, like, okay, this is my TV remote, so I'm not gonna just like focus on the TV remote. I'm gonna like back up and like focus on the TV remote, but also focus on like the other things around me, right? And it's a practice that you can try to do. Like, you don't have to like be hyper focused. You can like broaden your perception, and it really helps with like manifesting, but at the same, I don't know, that just came to me, but it also really helps with not being like hyper focused and anxiety. I think it just helps with like perception. Okay, so yeah, anyways, I think that if you can take one little small concept out of this entire YouTube video, I would say like if you can try and like look at your life right now and just think like, okay, I want things in my life, but I think I'm starting to put it on a pedestal, right? So try to bring it down, okay? Like if you really want something in your life right now, try to be like, oh, okay, whoa, I think it's so much greater than me. So let me try and bring it down to my level, and then it's gonna come naturally. And then when it comes, it's really gonna come in. Also, you could try doing like a visualization meditation. So visualize it in, close your eyes and try to visualize it. Try to like feel it how it's gonna be, but you're visualizing it in your meditation, and then when it comes into your life, you're like, oh, this feels familiar. Sometimes when I'll do visualization meditations, I will notice that it's so many blocks. Like if I want something and I'm like, oh my god, I have all these thoughts that come up like, oh, but I can't get that. I can't have my own money. I can't have my own wealth. I only need to rely on a man. And I have all these like crazy assumptions. So like it's so important, like as I'm visualizing, I'll be like, I can have that. I don't need to rely on a man for my money. I don't need to rely on a man to become wealthy. I can become wealthy myself. God is my provider. The universe is my provider, right? So just try to like let dim down, like really just let those thoughts go of why you can't, and then I'll start like visualizing them and have my eyes closed, or you can even do it open eyes. Just think like what's coming up for you when you want something. Like, are there a lot of fears, whatever? Try to let go of all the fears, bring that abundance into your life, and try to like put it all on the same level, and you're gonna manifest. It's gonna come into your life, I promise you. 99% sure those things are going to come into your life easily and easy peasy. Okay. All right, so I hope y'all enjoyed my YouTube video, and feel free to subscribe down below, like this video, and feel free to share it with a friend of yours if you think that they can benefit from this podcast too. I mean, YouTube video too, because I make podcasts too. Okay, on Spotify, you could check out my podcast. It's called Let Go and Begin Podcast on Spotify. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. Have a blessed day.